Greetings, fellow hunger-induced hallucinations. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile as well.
And welcome to Tiki's Universe, the show where we react, respond, and discuss various episodes of various cartoons. Mostly Steven Universe, but also under the umbrella is Star versus the Forces of Evil. So, Jacob, we just talked about the first part of the Star vs. Forces of Evil premiere, My New Wand. Now we're here to talk about the second part. The first part was very satisfying, really cool development on Star, really fun premise of being locked in the closet with Marco. A lot of fun there. Jeffrey Tambor's Glossaric. But now, I gotta say, Jacob, this might be my favorite episode of this whole series.
That's interesting.
I know that's a bold statement, but I'm just in love what this show did here. I love this episode. And I think it was just a really, really great way to kind of like introduce us back into season 2 in a bold and an unexpected new direction. It was by far the most development we've had on Ludo as a character. And at this point, I'm fascinated to see where they take Ludo going forward. We're going to get, this episode is definitely very spoiler heavy. So we're going to get into the big reveal at the end. So we're going to get into that. We're going to do some speculation, but we're going to kind of build up to that. So,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, but overall, you don't have to say this is the best episode of the series, Jacob, but what do you think of it?
I really did like this episode. I mean, of season 2, I'd definitely say it's better. Plot-wise, probably better than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, the first episode is definitely much more in the vein of, like, this is what this show is all about. This is kind of like, you know, a standard episode of Star versus the Force of Evil is going to feel, obviously, a lot more like My New Wand than, like, this episode. And I highly doubt we're going to get an episode like this ever again in the show. But that's partly why I love it so much. It's so unique. It's such a cool, fresh way to start out the season for the main villain of the show. It's an awesome direction they took here.
It was their way to experiment with the formula.
So speaking of experimentation, let's just get into this right now. The episode took a lot of notes out of the French cinema handbook, especially with the framing device and their narration and the music. Very much like the lack of dialogue, kind of like the, even down to like the tone of the episode, just kind of like the self-reflection and everything like that.
There was surprisingly not a lot of humor in this episode.
No, it's just like, it's so... like, it came out of nowhere, but I love it. It's just like, it's artistic, it's moody. Like, there's like moments in this that are genuinely emotional for Ludo. I feel like this episode is brilliant because it makes us really, really sympathize with Ludo, really get on his side, and then pulls the rug out from under us with the reveal at the end. But, all right. Yeah. But let's see. So we see Ludo. We see kind of like just a brief recap of what went on at the last part of the season finale, where Star throws Ludo into a dimensional, and he's just kind of flown out in space with a slow French piano music playing. Just a very, very reflective narrative. He's like, the hunger of the spirit and the hunger of the body.
And for some reason, a bag of chips floats by.
Yes, the runner of the golden crisps. But then he gets hit by a comet, lands in another dimension, and it's in a very, very thick forested environment. And just throughout the episode, it's like there's really not a ton going on. He befriends a spider at one point. By the way, Jacob, I have a big phobia of giant carnivorous spiders, and yeah. Oh, we get a good kind of pratfall where he gets like he's just super hungry. We get like these close-ups on his stomach, and it's just like, oh man, it's like his stomach is just like shrinking to the point of like just being skin and bone. And, he's trying to grab after a live fish. He's like, I want my sushi. But great performance from Alan Tudyk here, by the way. Just really, really good stuff here. And then he tries to get on like a mother bird feeding the regurgitated food into the baby birds. and the mother bird doesn't take kindly to it. She takes him up and throws him down several times, and kind of like a repeated pratfall. I think this is actually one of the few moments of real kind of like pratfall humor in the episode is when he's getting thrown off the cliff multiple times. Okay, but then we get into the spider, and there's that one guy who's just like, "Don't fight it, bro. You're stuck. Just let it happen." Because
when the spider realizes he tastes bad, you taste bad. I'll just shut up now.
But I love how because Ludo tastes bad, he gets spared by the spider, and then that guy just suffers a horrific fate. And this is one of the darker moments on the show, Jacob, is when Ludo is like he's observing this guy getting just mauled by the spider, and then like a bit of this guy lands on him. He's like, oh, that's horrible. And then what happens, Jacob?
He eats it.
Oh god. And then he just like gets like this bloodthirst for the flesh. It's like, oh boy, okay, yeah, we're going there, Disney.
It's surprising what they're able to get away with in this episode.
A family picture.
Yes.
Okay. So we cut to we have these title cards. Kind of counting the days, which is again very French cinema-esque. So we have day 37. 37! I'm sorry, I had to do it. And Ludo's got a long beard at this point. It's really interesting to see Ludo with like the facial hair evolving, and the long beards, because like throughout the whole show, through the first season, we just saw him with the beak. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying was, with all these days that pass by, it makes you wonder, like, has some of the events of the future episodes or the current episodes already happened already?
Yeah, right. There's so much to wonder about.
Because this isn't much of a spoiler, but over 90 days pass.
Mm-hmm.
The entire episode.
3 months, right?
It's all about 3 months past. So, if Ludo's gone in those few episodes, that could explain his absence, I suppose.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually really expect, like, from this point forward, they're gonna just leave us on like, okay, this is the last you're gonna see from Ludo for a while. Have fun, kids.
Yeah, because the kind of like, I won't really say anything about it, but yeah, it kind of implies that like probably several episodes have passed in the time while Ludo was trapped.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's see. So then we get the bonding with the spider, which I actually thought was genuinely sweet. Like this is like the closest the show's come to capturing like a Miyazaki-like feel, where the spider and Ludo are both starving out in the wilderness, and they're kind of and it cuts to day 65. Well, actually, before we get that, Ludo, we have the spider is he gives Ludo like half a fish out of this giant mass of fish that the spider's collected. And then Ludo goes for the bag of chips that he sees that's been running throughout the episode. And the spider doesn't even let Ludo get that. And then Ludo's just like, pig mistake.
Yeah. Like,
so he wrangles the chips away from the spider, and then he uses the chips to kind of direct the spider, where he'll lay down a chip and the spider will go in that direction. So he uses the chips to kind of gain control of the spider, gain the spider's trust. Then day 65, kind of like we said, we kind of see the spider and him kind of form a bond at this point. And then they shoot down what's the deal with this? They shoot down the giant bird, and then they just kind of have the giant bird tied up, and they don't really like even get into what they're doing with the bird. What do you think?
Well, remember when he had the hallucination later, he used it to grab the spider and fly.
Okay, so you're just saying like they're just using the bird just because they want something to fly with.
No, that might be the reason. That might have
So basically, they're using the bird as a slave at this point.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, remember what he said though about nature. The most vicious wins.
That's true. That's very true.
That might be good development for his whole forces of evil thing.
Yeah, so we get so then we get the French piano music, like we said, like the French framing device of Ludo says like, yeah, nature favors the merciless. And
This is like near day 90, I believe.
yeah, Ludo in the wild must find the wild in a Ludo. Wow, deep stuff, man. Deep stuff.
This might have some deep effect on him later.
Okay, so then we see Star, and this
Hey,
is
Ludo.
great because
Hey,
we were speculating. I'm sorry, go ahead.
she was like, just like, hey, Ludo, and just runs off.
So we were speculating, Jacob, that this episode was not going to have Star in it at all, and we were pretty much right because Star shows up and says literally 2 words and is gone. But
Well, and not counting the archival footage in the beginning.
yeah, sure, right. But then Ludo's like, nope, I'm gonna find someone else to get the wand.
And she's like, no, just find somebody else to get that wand.
Okay,
It's
so
like he's hesitant at first. Like, no, he's like, no, I'm past this.
right.
But even his urges kick in.
So we get the chase scene with Star, and it turns out Star's just a hallucination. But then, all right, folks, last chance. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the episode. Jacob, what goes down in the final moments?
He was in Muni the whole time.
And then what does he find in the snow?
The remaining crystal of Star's wand.
Oh boy. So,
And the best touch though at the end of that was when it was like, it's like day 90 and just went back to day 1.
yes.
That's how you know some stuff's gonna go down.
Yes. I'm like, oh shit.
It's like day 90, day 1.
I mean, so Ludo, first of all, I love the reveal of Ludo being in Muni. I totally wasn't expecting that, and they played it off really, really well. It was a great kind of great thing that they kind of kept under wraps until the last bit of the episode. Really good stuff there. And secondly, just after all this time, after season 1 of Ludo just trying to get he's got it. Like, he basically has more power at this point than Star might even have, because we basically spent the first episode of this premiere seeing how Star's wand is essentially defective. So now
that Ludo's learned to survive in the wild.
Right. So this makes Ludo obviously like a much bigger threat than we initially thought. We initially thought Toffee was going to be like the big bad of season 2. And I definitely think Toffee's going to be in there. But now I'm almost thinking that Toffee's going to be kind of like an anti-hero that helps them defeat Ludo, who kind of comes to power and takes over Muni. Oh, man.
Well, that could be Ludo's role, too.
Right. Oh, so much to get into. So much to... Like, just, do you have any just base speculation to get into with this cliffhanger? It's just like, it's wild, man. It really does set the tone for the entire season from a storytelling point of view.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, you can tell they're now definitely getting into building the continuity. Like the first season, like, there's like minor bits of continuity here and there, like especially near the end.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
But this, you can definitely tell they're establishing major continuity here.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Really good stuff. Really exciting.
I mean, especially the day from like day 90 to day 1. I mean, like, that tells you some stuff's gonna go down.
Yeah, and you made a really good observation about how 3 months has passed, so it might be a while before we see Ludo again. And so we've kind of got that hanging over our heads. We're like, okay, Ludo at some point is going to strike in Muni, and it's not going to be good.
He knows he's in Muni now. He's like, he has the power. What is he going to do?
Oh, man. It's great. It's just a great note to leave the premiere on. I don't know, like, it's definitely not the most funny episode of the series by any stretch of the imagination, but just for the sheer impact of, like, I watched it first thing when I woke up, and I was just like, oh, man. Oh, boy. Like, it's just all I thought about all day. I was just like, okay. Like we're really in it now. Like, they're, like you said, this is the start of, like, this show really forming just a strong narrative centerpiece here.
And it's kind of painting a different picture on Ludo. I mean, like, in the first season, he was just like this kind of like obnoxious, crazy bad guy who just wanted the wand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And look at him now.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I think that's actually like the big strength of the episode is Ludo is now in a position of power and he's like genuinely intimidating at this point. But we just saw a whole episode of being able to sympathize with him and get on his level from like a really primal point of view. So that's a bold, really, really inspired storytelling choice to do that.
Yeah, so who knows? He might not. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, but I'm really excited about what's coming, what's going forward, and I'm even more excited about my trip to Disneyland, Jacob, but unfortunately that's happening next Monday when the new episodes drop. So folks, just a little warning in advance.
And apparently 10:30 is going to be, apparently till 10:30 thing's going to be a regular thing.
Yeah. But just to warn people in advance, we're gonna have to wait a little while into next week to be able to talk about episodes 3 and 4 of season 2. I'm really sorry to have to do that because obviously I think this season got off on a really, really strong foot. I can't wait to see what they do going forward, but I'm going to be in Disneyland. I'm going to take my time with Disneyland. And so it's like when I get back, then we deal with cartoons because I'm also going to have Steven Universe on the site as well. But in the meantime, Jacob, really strong episode to start out with. Thanks for coming on for
and next time, Mr. Candle Cares and Red Belt.
Yes. And I can't even like begin to speculate on what those episode titles might implicate. I'm just gonna go along for the ride. So
yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for joining us, folks, and stay weird.
Stay wild.
Stay wild.